Info. We are broadcasting live from Etimiyang Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome to the last hour of the show called Morning Crossfire. I am Sheriff Quadri. Great to be here. We're live right now on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can watch if you're on those two platforms. The Facebook page is Nigeria Info 99.3. YouTube channel is Nigeria Info 99.3. Let's know what you think about security. We will delve deeper into the banditry and kidnapping conversation in a moment. But let me introduce my guest, Liborous Oshoma. You know him too well. Liborous, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on the Crossfire today.
Yeah, good morning, Sheriff. My pleasure always, as you know.
It's always a pleasure to have you here. Let me gauge your thoughts on the general situation of security in the country. What's your thought on that?
We are all to blame, all of us. All of us. It's always very easy for us to shift blame.
That's right.
If you notice, some of the things that PDP did, this same government of APC, had repeated some. And those people that supported PDP whilst they were in office, doing those same thing, are those criticizing APC today for doing those same thing. And the APC people that criticized PDP whilst they did those things are the ones supporting Buhari today for doing the same wrong that they campaigned to come correct. So I would say we all acquiesced. We kept silence in the face of this monster. It didn't start today.
No, it didn't.
It's the Almajiris, our age mates who were Almajiris those days, are today full-blown men. And so when one person carried a gun in the Niger Delta and is compensated with amnesty, the man in the north does not know the meaning of amnesty or the fact that, he didn't kill people, he blew up pipelines. All he knew is that he carried a gun and government gave him money. And so that man in the north who is not educated, what do you expect him to do? He had the capacity to carry a gun. He hadn't carried a gun, but he sees that government has compensated some persons. And then he carries a gun. The man in the east who you call a Yahoo boy, and then you see him, you push him inside the gutter, police harassed him, and all of that, who wasn't carrying a gun. But seeing his brothers in the north being compensated for carrying guns will also feel, this is a lucrative trade. That's how the rest of us who could afford to send our children to school, we kept quiet. Because it's even in the midst of ASU strike, provided we can afford to pay the fees. Those who can afford to send theirs abroad, sent theirs abroad, and we all kept quiet.
We played Enoch Consign Me. After all, my children are not involved. And then you hear that your neighbor was robbed. You say, hey, it is well. And then, so it is always very convenient, rather than come out to demand accountability from people that begged us to serve us, would look the other way, depending on the religion, the ethnicity, the culture, the relationship. And so that's why how gradually, the problem came to where we are. In 2015, Buhari came with 83 promises that he saw the problems. Even at that time, Saudi Arabia projected that the price of oil was going to go as low as $10 per barrel. But that they were ready. They had, kept enough to cushion the effect. That's right.
But all of this, Buhari and his party saw the looming danger that there was not going to be money. But they said, no, we will squeeze out water from the stone. And we all were happy. But people, the rest of us, we voted them into office. And he had what you call a 100-day pact. A scorecard. After the 100 days, instead of us to bring out that 100-day scorecard and say, look, let's begin at this early morning to tick the box to ask, these are the things you promised to do in 100 days. What did we do? We were debating amongst ourselves. We were holding excuses for them. 100 days is too small. Don't give them 2 years, the first 2 years. Then after some time, if you complain, they say you are willing. So we started quarreling and fighting amongst ourselves, the wailers and the hailers. And 1 year, when 6 months, there were no ministers. Buhari said they were noisemakers. This was a government that was supposed to hit the ground running, but they touched the ground and started running away from it. Those of us that should jolt them to reality started making excuses for them. Say, no, 16 years rot of PDP, you can't clean it in 1 year. And people said, no, we are not saying clean it in 1 year, but it is the steps you take in the money that will determine what will happen. Boko Haram, if you remember, at that time, also introduced suicide bombing. They were using some of these young little girls for suicide bombing. And we all started making excuses. Ali Mohammed said they'd been decimated. It is just soft targets. After some time, I said they've been technically defeated. And the excuses continue. By the time we woke up to reality, it's now a full-blown crisis. And so we are looking for who to blame. You're saying, bring foreigners, bring Americans to aid you. Americans cannot solve the security problem here. What we need is a reorientation, a rejigging, a government that is sincere and forthright in the way they fight corruption, the way they will fight insecurity, in the way they will provide governance. Look at even the allegations against the government. The Easterners are complaining that they've been completely excluded. While if you are from the North, you say, no, it is not like that. So, but you ask yourself question, what do we really want? In your newspaper analysis this morning, everybody is saying, oh, Gumi. Gumi goes to discuss with bandits. He had meetings with them and came out to say, this is what they have, suggested. And you're looking for intel. You're looking for how to get these bandits. They make calls. They kidnap 300 people with Okadas, with trucks, and then you are asking me to provide intel on how to crush them. And then people also are saying, look, if you use the same tactics that you're using for IPOB members on Boko Haram, would have gotten far.
Is it really the same, IPOB and Boko Haram?
It is not the same because, one, you say you will rehabilitate some. Why some don't need rehabilitation?
I mean, the two situations that we're looking at now, the IPOB situation and the Boko Haram situation, are they the same situations that you can apply the same tactics to both?
The two of them are arms bearer. If you say, I'm talking about the unknown gunmen now that have been linked to IPOB.
Okay.
Even when IPOB were not arms bearers, they were secessionist agitators. Government declared them a terrorist organization. And people were like, oh, how about Boko Haram? How about headsmen? Headsmen. So we should live peacefully with our neighbors. So it is government silence and the silence on the part of the rest of us that have fueled all of this insecurity. And when it happens to your neighbor, you say it is well, until it happens to you. At a point, people couldn't, even till date, some people can't travel from point A to point B. Even from Lagos to Ibadan now, you need the blood of Jesus to be able to travel on that road without attack from kidnappers, from headsmen crisis and all of that. And yet, the responsibility of government is the protection, the welfare and protection of the people.
Let's break it down with the responsibility that you just mentioned. If you're joining us, you're welcome. Liborous is here. I am Sheriff Quadri. Let's talk about responsibility. Whose responsibility is it is to protect the people from banditry and kidnapping? The state government or the federal government? By law now.
No, the federal government. The state government can't control it. The governors are chief security officers of state and they control no security apparatus. The barest, which is the police, are not controlled by them.
But what does the law say, though?
That's what I'm telling you. It's a federal government police, not the state policing. And that's why there's been this agitation also. Oh, should we have state police? Should we not have police? Some people have said we are not ripe for state police because the governors are high-handed and they will use state police to pursue passive opposition. And then the question you will ask, is the federal government using federal police to pursue passive opposition? If it will solve the security problem, the security is local. Every security is local. You should have local government police and have state police. And then you don't have federal police that will come to cushion or assist. Take LASMA, for example.
That's right.
LASMA is more effective than road safety in traffic management. And so,
If you have a state police,
and that's a state agency.
That's a state agency.
Right.
If you have a state police, they understand, they are residents in the area. They understand the problems in the area. That's why you hear, a policeman in Los Angeles, for example, will say, I've lived in this hood all my life, and so I know the nooks and crannies.
Right.
Yeah, that does not mean that there are no criminals in these places, but they are able to track them. And when you talk about refederating Nigeria as a country,
right?
When you refederate, oh yes, you have charlatans as local government chairmen, and in some cases you have governors that have never worked anywhere before, right from when they left school, they've joined politics, but that will mean, instead of us looking towards Abuja, all of us will look down to our local government, slug it out there, and look at the state, because we know they generate the revenue from there.
Right.
But when you have this feeding bottle style, where the man in Erumukokwane, if you have what do you call it, oil well in Erumukokwane, the federal government comes to collect the revenue, even though they don't even know how Erumukokwane looks like. Or you have the man in Argungu tells you, I don't want alcohol. You have a business of selling alcohol. He destroys the bottle. But yet, that man in Anegbete, he's selling alcohol and paying VAT to federal government. And the federal government will share to the man in Arugungu, who had destroyed the same business. He says, look, I don't want that business in my area. The moment he knows that it's a money spinner, he will allow it, but give restrictions and say, I will collect VAT from you. So when you have a lopsided arrangement like this, that's where people say injustice. And you're definitely going to have injustice. In a land of injustice, that's where you begin to talk about unlawfulness, lawlessness. And like we say, in a land of lawlessness, it is illegal to be law-abiding.
Indeed. Now, I wanted to talk about that law, because I've heard senior advocates say that security is for the state government to handle. Issues like bandits, for instance, issues like kidnapping. These are issues that state governors should be able to, by law, empowered to handle. Rather, even the federal government has said that these are domiciled with the state government to handle them.
The federal government were very, very careful. They said prosecution of banditry. The state attorney general can prosecute. So you don't have to wait. If a man is arrested for banditry, a man is arrested for kidnapping, a man is arrested for rape, is arrested for arms dealing.
That's right.
The state attorney general can conveniently
prosecute.
He doesn't need a fiat. But who arrests that man is the police.
That's right.
So there are two issues here. The first one is going after them, arresting them. The second arm is to bring them to book. So when you have a Nigerian police and a Nigerian army that is overwhelmed, fighting war, internal war in all fronts. You have Operation Mensa in Lagos, Operation Crocodile Tears, Operation Gbale, Operation this, Operation that, Operation Lafia Dole.
Name them. There are many.
So this is the Nigerian army. All of these operations that you call Joint Task Force is Nigerian army in some cases, and a few mobile police. And yet, go to Marina House. The police numbers of police there guarding the governor are almost a police barrack. And you don't have enough to go around to guard the people. In some cases, if you go to some areas like in the east now, some police stations are deserted because of the crisis there. And so very soon now you have I was in Olu on that Thursday. I was at Olu Banana Junction, where that crisis, the number of army people I saw in that place they were combat ready and ready for. That's the same Nigerian army. You have some still guarding cars though from Ladipo to you go to buy engine, and then so all
the
of
military,
this,
the police, they are stretched.
they're overstretched. So what do you need? Now, you remember the debate between Amotekun, should they bear arms, should they not bear arms? That's security. And so if this is the responsibility of the state governors to provide security for their people as chief security officer, why were we debating whether Amotekun should bear arms or not? Because arms is on the exclusive legislative list, and it can only be dealt with by the federal government. You can employ security guards, but they are just there, gatemen, watch nights.
they can do when the real people come, they can't protect you. They just open and close the gate for you. So, because arms is on exclusive legislative list, it is a duty of the federal government.
Right.
That's why you have LASMA here. LASMA to me is like a state policing, but they are limited to traffic.
That's right.
If it was possible, the federal government, Lagos State government, with the right cash, would have employed police and give them arms to protect, to also assist the federal government police in providing security. So what do they do? What do the state governors do? They set up security trust fund. They donate cars to police for patrol. And then the mentality of the average Nigerian police, because the organization when you don't treat an organization well, what you're going to have is a garbage in system, garbage out. And that's why if you buy a brand new car for patrol for the Nigerian police today, give them 6 months. When you see that car, you will shake your head, because of the kind of people we recruit into the police who have made the force so unattractive that people go into the police to feel, a man go do nothing there. So let me join this one where, I am empowered with the gun. In some cases, can even go into armed robbery. So security is something that all of us, everybody in Nigeria, all of us, we share one blame or the other, because you want to be a broadcaster, you go to school, you learn journalism and the rest. You want to be a medical doctor, you go to school, spend 7 years, but you want to be a leader that will take decisions that will affect the broadcaster, that will affect the medical doctor, that will affect the lawyer. You don't need to go to school. Your constitution says you can have school cert or its equivalent, and its equivalent as defined by the same constitution says if you can read and write, in the opinion of INEC, and none of us is complaining. So when you have a man who can just read and write, is not trained in the act of leadership, we're even debating certificate or no certificate.
At some point.
And then we say it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter, it's administrative. And so we're not talking about capacity of these people who are going to take decisions that will affect all of us. And so when we refuse to do that, and you now have these people at the helm of affairs, in some cases you have a ministerial screening. It is take a bow and go. And we all clap, we kept quiet. What then do you expect from these people?
What are we expecting from take a bow and go people?
Exactly. So somebody is to be made a chief of defense staff. All we know about him is that yes, he was in the army. He was in the army. What his achievements were, we don't know. Oh yes, he went to ECOMOG with the rest. But in terms of interaction, now you are no more in the army. In terms of your relationship with the civil populace, civil order, civil authority, nobody is asking questions. They just say, oh, he was a general, take a bow and go. And then that same general comes and said, why are you as afraid of bandits with just 4 bullets? That time they shoot 3 times, they will be exhausted. Don't run. Defend yourself against them. And then we all kept quiet.
Let me talk to you about, Liborous, please hold on a minute. Let me talk to you because we need to go on a break now, and I need to get your thought on this one here before we start taking thoughts in. Let's go to the south. The south and the southeast. Police officers have been killed. Police stations have been attacked. Checkpoints have been shot at. You just mentioned your visit to Olu in a moment now. Just a couple of hours ago, police officers were killed in Rivers and Abi. I mean, it's getting out of hand. How would you suggest we approach this?
First and foremost, you ask yourself, how do you expect the average Nigerian now to pick a form and say, I want to join the Nigerian police? Those that have been killed, maybe if there are police insurance scheme, their parents, their families will be paid 250,000, 500,000 maximum. Some cases, if it's too much, 1.5 million. And they have at least 4 children, a wife. Those children will go to school. They will want to aspire to greater heights. And then they saw the way the country treated their parents who were killed in the line of duty. Nothing. You think if those people have opportunity tomorrow, they will call Nigeria a home? Or if they have opportunity to take up arms against the state, they won't do it. When you are rehabilitating those people who carried guns against their parents, So that's one first mentality that the government should look at and say, how do we encourage people to even join hands in combating this menace? Then secondly, we say security is local. I asked one question in 2015, 2016. Those days we had National Orientation Agency under the Ministry of Information. Do you still hear of the National Orientation Agency? And yet every day we talk of orientation, reorientation. These people feel aggrieved, shortchanged, and they are listening to somebody they shouldn't be listening to, who is pointing out these ills to them. When Oshibanjo acted as president, when Buhari went for medical vacation, what did he do differently that calmed these frayed nerves in this East and the Port Harcourt? What did he do?
He went there.
He went there. He walked on the streets of Owerri. He marched on the street of Yenagoa. And the people in Yenagoa were like, even when our son was president, we never saw him this way. He went to Port Harcourt. He had banters and meetings with traditional rulers and the governor. And so that gave them a sense of belongings. That gave them hope that, yes, we are also recognized in the scheme of things. Apart from, when do you hear from our president Buhari when he travels abroad, or when Garba Shehu is insulting the people, or Femi Adesina is telling us to swallow whatever he has to say? And that's not how to lead in a nation where there is crisis. So you find out that the governors, nobody calls the governor's name in all of these. Nobody will mention their name. But if you have a leader who knows his onion, when you get down to this area, the southeast, for example, where there is so much agitation, where they are complaining of injustice, of marginalization, what do? The first step was, let me have a stakeholders meeting with these people. You have security. After all, you go to Borno, nobody's going to kill you there. Get to these places, hold a stakeholders meeting with them, apportion blame where it should be, and then swear and take and tell the people that some of these issues you're going to address, and let them see immediately that you're taking decisive decisions to addressing some of the ills complained about. Do you know, once you do that, you would have silenced all those opposition talk that you call detractors. And so that's genuineness and sincerity of purpose. But if you don't do that and you sit down in Abuja and you deploy, even I was reading a release this morning, I don't know how true that is, you deploy that all the military commanders in the East are from the North. And then you deploy these soldiers and you think that soldiers will bring peace. Even when they fight, at the end of the day, they still come back to the table.
Liborous, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll talk more. We'll delve deeper to the state level and the involvement of governors and residents. Stay here. We're back.
Or 0703-058-6385. Brain Friend. Learn better, make excellent grades.
Samsung is back again with yet another exciting promo. The Samsung Super Deal Promo. Buy any Galaxy S21 series and get a Buds Live. You also get a backpack for every Galaxy A32. Awesome freebies on your A02S purchase. And 3,000 Naira discount on Galaxy A02 and A3 Core. Promo runs from 3rd to 30th May 2021. Hurry now. Offer valid while stock lasts. T's and T's apply.
Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Rama. You just dey come. Me, I don't break my fast though with the food where they give us for here. In fact, now so kill we kill before we collect time.
So all this stress on top say you want collect fruits for breaking fast. Don't worry yourself because me don't get get fruit from Adron Homes. You remember I tell you about the Ramadan promo. You save it benefit from Adron Ramadan promo package with chicken money like 25,000 Naira initial deposit. You go get food pack or shopping voucher and even spread the payment within 24 months. You no finish for there. For every land where you buy, you save go collect gifts. If you can't pay 1 million income, you go collect food pack, bag of rice, coat, and even shopping voucher. Take join body. Hey, waiting you they wait for. Oh yeah, sharply go Adron Homes. Make you save benefit from the Ramadan promo. For more Tori, make you call us for 080-6753-0328 or 0708-897-6929.
Running a growing business is not easy. It's all hands on deck for me and my small team of 12. I know that to get the best out of them, their health must be in tip-top shape. But most HMOs I approached said I have to have at least 20 staff before I can get on a plan. They don't cater to small businesses. Then I found Reliance HMO. And just like that, they got my team and I registered seamlessly. What's even mind-blowing is that their rates are flexible and affordable while not compromising on quality care. I have not received any complaints from my team since they got on board. The service is that great. Indeed, you can rely on Reliance HMO for your small businesses and its healthcare needs.
Visit reliancehmo.com/corporate or call 0700-7354-2623 to get a quote for your small business and start enjoying reliable healthcare today. Reliance HMO. You can rely on us.
In the information era, facts, events, and news are available at the click of a button. The information flow is enormous, which makes the financial markets unpredictable. As a trader, you need to have a strategy, and most importantly, you need a trustworthy partner that will simplify things for you. Hot Forex is serious about its responsibilities to you. With its origin dating back to 2010, we are a multi-regulated broker with over 2 million live accounts, wide global presence, more than 35 international awards, tight spreads, multiple assets, reliable fast execution, technological innovation, and multiple account types. The Hot Forex team is always ready to deliver trading services and free trading education that you can rely on every time. And this is not just a mission, it's a promise. Visit the Hot Forex Educational Centers at 3rd floor, Warala House, 90 Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos, or call 0908-517-6394 or visit www.hotforex.com. Hot Forex, for traders that want more.
Hey, Oga and Madam, you don't see the room now. Make I show you the toilet where you could share with the other neighbors.
Now the toilet be this.
What's the apple?
Oga agent, you mean say na general toilets clean, come white like this,
Yes, now. The Hypo toilet cleaner that they use to clean and kill the yama germs come out.
Hypo toilet cleaner? Wow.
Wash your toilet at least once a week with Hypo toilet cleaner to keep it sparkling clean and germ-free. Available in sachet for 35 Naira only. Madam, now 2 years landlord one collect.
We go pay for 6 years,
Back on the Morning Crossfire.
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back to Crossfire here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. If you're watching on Facebook, you're welcome. It's good to know that you're there. If you're watching on YouTube now, we're not streaming on Twitter. If you listen to our Port Harcourt studio, they stream on Twitter. So you can watch Nigeria Info Port Harcourt on Twitter. But in Lagos here, we stream on Facebook and on YouTube. YouTube is Nigeria Info 99.3 as well. Thank you all for joining us. Liborous Oshoma is here, and we've been discussing security situation in Nigeria, particularly banditry and kidnapping in Nigeria lately. We would come to the telephone and take your thoughts across our social media platforms in a moment, just in a moment. But I need to delve deeper into the security at the state levels right now. I'm still staying in the south here because It's getting bigger and bigger in the South. Liborous, thank you again for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
So we've delved into the South issue concerning security. You talked about what needs to, happen right now. But particularly, I'm looking at the governors of the South. Yes, the South, Southeast. The Southwest is not exempt from what is happening security-wise. What should the governors be thinking right now?
Fantastic. Because you find out that also, I always start from the rest of us. We never hold our governors accountable. Like I also did this morning. So, yes, the problem should start from the top. Rightly so. But our governors share a lot of blame. They collect security votes. Even though they know that they do not, command any security. So what they should do, Amotekun started rightly, come together, let's create a synergy, in the region so we can patrol, our borders and, so they should take it to the next level. This time now to take it to the next level. You have Amotekun, you have local vigilante.
That's right.
You find out that the local vigilantes are more effective than even the police, because the local vigilantes understand, some of them are even hunters. They understand the terrain, they understand the bush, so they volunteer information. So now in the era, recently I was watching a video of a young man whose laptop was stolen in a car. And what did he do? He had a drone. He was coming from where he went to record. He had a drone. The moment that laptop got to the car and discovered that the laptop was missing, he took the drone up. And right there and then, he saw the young man that was standing close to his car. Now you have media houses have drones to record an event, including private video recording organizations.
That's right.
So how come state governors, local government chairmen have not invested in this
technology,
today's technology, to guard their areas? Because security is about, forestalling the occurrence and not wait for it to happen. And then you now begin to say, oh, if we had known. Amotekun, yes, government said they shouldn't bear arms. But the same government, drones are not on exclusive legislative lists. So if you have these things to survey the area,
right,
it will be easier for you when you hear that herdsmen are in a forest, for example. It will be easier for you to survey those forests and know which ones are fomenting trouble and which ones are the peaceful ones, instead of this approach of the blanket, everybody leave the forests. Everybody leave the forest. There are some people whose daily life depends on going to these forests. It's their life.
That's right.
Until we change ranching, we institute ranching and make it lucrative the way it is done world over, you cannot stop them from grazing their cattle from one forest to the other. If this is genuinely their business, you can't take it away from them and arrest them indiscriminately like we are currently doing. So, but when you have this security apparatus, local governments, state government can invest in these things. So you wouldn't need Liborous Oshoma or Sheriff Quadri to come volunteer information to you. You already have the information. All you're just doing is verifying.
That's
the
right.
pictures are already there. Photograph. That's why people invest in CCTV. So now they've given you, the camera is even smaller now. And so a drone can fly past you, depending on the height. You won't even know. And so if the state governments can set aside some of these security votes and not to settle area boys and area guests and some area godfathers, not to share with them. You remember Adedibu once said, look, we create insecurity. If you give me 15%, it won't be a bad idea. And so it still happens. And the former governor, Otumba Gbenga Daniel, also did say at one forum that if he explains how he spent his security vote, that the state will burn. People that were coming, that he had a note, a notebook. If he gives you 10 kobo, he notes it down there. And so, And that's why I always say all of us will all have a blame and a role to share.
Let's go to the Southeast. How would you, because the situation in Southeast and the South is fast degenerating.
Take Ipoh, for example. Ipoh. I was, like I told you, I was in Olu, Uruala, Owerri, down to Port Harcourt. And the people are saying, we didn't vote for this governor. That's where the problem started from. We didn't vote for a governor. He was imposed on us. And then, young boys were killed in EndSARS happened in Lagos.
That's right.
And as bold as the government of Lagos can be, the governor denied and said, no, people didn't die. Oh, no, because he understands the gauge the mood of the people. And then they set up committee, let us begin to investigate. You keep the people busy. But young boys were killed in Olu. The governor came out and owned up and said, yes, I was the one that deployed the Air Force. I called them to come do it. And then people were like, you that we didn't vote for, and you have the temerity, the infantry, to call these people on us, and so we are going to make the state ungovernable for you. And that's why that Olu crisis is persisting. And that's the foundation. And if you must solve it as a governor, it is not to go on air and begin to, you need to interact with your people. They are your people. You speak the same language. You eat from the same place. Coincidentally, what do you call it? Rocha Sokorocha is from that region, from that zone. He represents Olu Senatorial Zone. He's from Idiato North or Idiato South. So he's also having running battle with Rochas, who is the former governor. So what do you need? Call a truce.
Okay.
You call a truce. Your people are complaining of marginalization. This is not the time for you to also marginalize them. They see you as a messenger from the north and not one of them. And so once that happened, you know, like I said, you've had this consistent army of unemployed people who, for some time, you know, even during IPOB protest, you see how they are arrested and how they are treated.
Right.
And then they also have leaders who we consistently point them to. Look at Boko Haram is being rehabilitated. Why you are treated this way? That means you do not belong amongst these people. Government started the second Niger bridge. Fantastic. Some people who are APC in the East said, yes, at least we can point to something to say, yes, this is from us. Continue. Take other projects. Road, and let the people, also, as you're doing this thing, ensure that you are interfacing and interacting with them. Communication is very key.
It is.
For every government, communication is key. But one thing that the government consistently keep missing is the thing that when you have a chief press secretary, his own is to talk down at the people and not talk with the people. So when you talk down at the people, there are going to be misconception. When a president when you hold an interactive session with people, it's different from reading an address.
Right.
Because people are going to ask questions.
That's right.
People are going to ask questions that are agitating their minds. So when you do that, they give you an opportunity to talk with your people, and then you note down some of those areas that you think, some of the things you think they need that they don't actually need. You might be thinking, I want to build a bridge for them, and they say, no, what we want is just peace so that we can farm. Or just a small road so we can take our produce from the farm to the cities. And then you understand it from that point. But in the absence of this interaction, and then you have governors that Supreme Court has imposed on the people who feels that he owns no allegiance to the people, but to somebody in Abuja who imposed him.
That's in Imo. How about the killings in Rivers, the killings in Ebonyi, the killings in Akwa Ibom?
That's why I told you that when you have a few, mind you, all of these people have been seated there waiting for just a spark. You have army of unemployed youths who are frustrated and waiting for a spark. Some are armed robbers who are looking for opportunity to legitimize their trade. And so the moment it happened in Olu, and then the people said, we no go gree, it emboldened those in Abia. It will further embolden those in Ebonyi.
You don't think this is a single cell? This is from a single group of people.
No. They are not a single group of people, but they are people who shares a single ideology, who has been fed consistently over time with the same information, and there is no counter information. They hate us. Oh, they've never left their area. And so when they tell them, and that's why also I tell people, with Nigeria bonds, we all have a blame to share. Because sometimes some of the fake information that we share on social media, and then there are people who in their life have never stepped out of their small domain.
Right.
But they read it, they believe it, and then they also share to their likes. They keep it in their mind. And government is not doing anything to interact and engage these people. So you have, take for example, now when Ipoh started, before you had Massop, and then it became Ipoh. What did the leaders in the East do to also assuage the fears of these people, to show them that we are together? Apart from Senator Inara Baribe, that had taken time consistently to interact with these people, and in some cases, tacitly support them, no other person. And so that's why even some of the leaders now can't talk to them. Because when a young people that did not see the Civil War, this set of young people didn't experience the Civil War. So those of you that experienced the Civil War are old and dying. And so this set didn't experience it. So you will need to talk to them for them to understand that crisis, it's like wildfire. You can start it, but you won't know the extent. And then you also need to give them a sense of justice. Don't shut them down. Take NSAS also, for example. Right. Do you think it is over? It is not.
It is not over?
It is not. You know why? What we have succeeded in doing is covering a sore. There are a lot of injustice. That's what led to that uprising. Are the police not back? Are police not still torturing young people today? Are they not also involved in indiscriminate arrest? Is the government, this morning on your analysis, is the government not contemplating reducing salaries? Why not reducing cost of governance? These are the injustices that people complained about. But when you shush them up, what you're doing, you're just covering the problem. Because when it eventually starts, they might not even go on a protest next time. That's why the same Ipoh, before it was protest in the East, you hear market men, market women carried placard, they are protesting in indiscriminate arrest of one of their members. Until somebody came and said, look, this country do not like you. And so, before you knew it, people started, subscribing to this same ideology. They came together in Ebonyi, they will come together in Port Harcourt, they'll come together in Uyo, they'll come together in Olu, until, you remember, the protest in Port Harcourt, and Wike said, no, you can't.
That's right.
You can't come here to protest. In Obigbo, the protest there also, and even the killings that took place. Degenerated. So all of these are people who are frustrated. It is the same story across board from Sokoto to Cross River, from Boronu to Lagos.
So military action is not the solution. That's what you're saying.
Military action is not the solution. It's not the first line. It should be the second line. That is why even in the military, they have offices that are created to engage in dialogue. That's why they tell you the table that you go to after the war was there even before the war. So use the table first. And it's all the examples abound. So it is when it degenerates to a level that you can no longer control, that you now resort to military action. But before then, you can even, that's why in some cases they say, okay, deploy the police first to keep peace while we engage the stakeholders. If you engage the stakeholders and you are able to get commitment from them, and on your part, you also abide by the rules of engagement, you'll be shocked that they would be the ones that would maintain peace and insist.
Let's go to the Northwest and North Central, where we have banditry and kidnapping. I wish we had more time, honestly, Liborous. We have a lot to talk about, but let's see what we can do in the next 6-7 minutes. Banditry and kidnapping in the Northwest and North Central. What should the governors be thinking?
The one in the Northwest and North Central, it's similar to what I started with when I told you that the Almajiris, that the likes of Isa Pantemi indoctrinated when he was a young man, according to government. Now he's grown, he's repented. But some of them today have not repented. Some of them are those people who are grown men now who feels that, look, carrying arms and kidnapping, it's lucrative. So you have a Gumi who is discussing with them, pay them off. And then there's another narrative that a lot of us also, it's very convenient for us anyway, because it was a chieftain of the APC that made that statement that said, look, we brought in these people for the election, armed them, just like the Niger Delta militants were armed. But so what should we do now? First, we need to ensure that the next set of Almajiris that are growing up now, who are more than the ones we already have, do not also grow up and see this as a lucrative business.
How do we ensure that?
So the messages that we are preaching to them, we should watch that message. Okay. We should also ensure that education, maybe not necessarily the Western one, but whatever education you want to give them should be the education that we mold them into leaders that we think more of the society than themselves.
But these steps that you've highlighted, we've had them before.
President
Jonathan built Almajiri
How many?
schools.
Why was
he built the schools?
If we had them,
schools were there right now. What is happening to those schools?
No, wait. If we had them, why was President Jonathan building them? And how many?
No,
did he
I mean during his tenure.
How many?
That's what I mean by
what
before.
So it's an ideological thing. Take in 2003 or so, we started this Sharia, no Sharia, Sharia, no Sharia. We debated it back and forth. When political leaders decided that they were going to make some part, strictly, in a secular state, strictly Islamic, what they are telling those people, others who are not of that religion, is that there's a special message here. And so, I grew up as I am here now, Sheriff, I can recite the Fatiha. At least in my house then, some of us used to join our cousins for Quranic school. Makaranta, Alif, Ba, Ta, Sa. We lived together as neighbors.
That's right.
What was the message that was preached to us then? Humanity. What was the message that was sent as Christians, as Muslims? That we will derive pleasure in ensuring that we'll be the one to butcher the ram for Salah, even though as Christians, an Alhaji will not feel, look, these are Kafiris. That on Christmas Day, we'll take food to Alhaji and everybody will eat and be happy. But today, you see the average Hausa Muslim, you're scared. You see a man with beards, you're scared. Maybe this man is a Boko Haram. And what do you expect when you have a president who the people tell you your people are engaging in killings? Instead of you to come out and say, look, Chief of Army Staff, the IGP of Police, this is not what my people represents. This is not what my people stands for.
He gave a directive, shoot aside if you carry any dangerous weapons in the forest.
At what point was that shoot aside order given? And then the rest of us are debating it.
Yes, we
this
started
is not
debating
what
it.
I am. Anuneme man from Afemai. If I am a leader and then my people are engaged in armed struggle, the first thing I would do is that you want to destroy me. I will tell the world that this is not what we stand for. And I would call my leaders and say, look, you talk to them. I will speak the language that they understand. And then now ask my security details to deal with those that would not want to understand that language. By the time I use my people as example, the rest of every other person will
fall into
Let's
line.
quickly go back to the governors of the Northwest and North Central.
It is the same language. It is the same language.
Hold on, Liborous. We'll be back.
Recruiting independent sales executives that own a car and a valid driver's license. Are you ready to work with the company with the most history worldwide? Are you ambitious, a smart worker? Do you have a great attitude? Ready to take your career to the next level? Here is an opportunity for you. Please call 0815 705 0505 or 0905 637 4258 to book for an interview.
Welcome back. So, apologies for the interruption. Thanks to our clients, by the way. Now, let's wrap up now.
So, all of the same. It is the same thing. All of these governors in the northwest, some of them north central. Name one who is not Hausa Fulanis. All of them are Hausa Fulanis. So they understand you can't say just Fulani because they intermarry over a period of time. So all of them, they understand the language of their people.
Right.
How much the same Erufai today that is wanting to engage. If you go back in time, at the exception of this administration, these are the same Erufai who said he was paying bandits so that they will not engage in killing. How much of engagement are they doing today? When people die in Gonarugu, in southern Kaduna, you look the other way. They say the security forces didn't come on time. But now, these same people who killed those people in southern Kaduna have turned against their own. And then you are jittery, you are agitated. So the first thing should be engage those that are not yet indoctrinated, and then those that have crossed the line, bring them to book. Let justice prevail. In a land of justice, everybody will have a sense of belonging.
Liborous Oshoma, thank you so much for joining this conversation today. I wish you had more time, but we can't go any further. Thank you so much for coming.
Always my pleasure.
Tomorrow we'll be having Dr. Nawaila Mohammed of the Coalition of Northern Groups. He will join us via Skype tomorrow to discuss the same issue. Many thanks to everybody that have been part of the show. Now let's see if we can give somebody 10,000 naira on just a minute, sponsored by Creditview. I'll be back.
Are you a salary?
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.